Hey everyone, it's Miriam. I'm working on this painting right here. I figured I'd go live for a bit. If y'all have any questions, let me know. Happy to answer. I'm trying to make it so you guys can see my palette too. Here's what we're working with. We're working on this right eye today. But in true Miriam fashion, I'll probably bounce around the painting as well. How's everyone doing today? Hey, thanks, Blue Star. I appreciate the kind words. Hey, Mariola. Thanks for joining. Hopefully I pronounced that all right. Hey, Zero. Thanks for joining. It's been a while since I've been on live. I recently taught a workshop in Spain, so that was fun. So I spent a lot of time prepping for that and then traveling traveling is well, not traveling per se, but flying is definitely um, one of my biggest fears. So I don't know if I'll be doing it for a long time. But the group was great. Oh, Zero said your subjects are always too good and well posed. Thank you. Are you an elevator averse human? Yes, I am. Zero said I started to not like elevators. I'm flying a bit. Yeah, and actually, even in like the past year, I've gotten really bad with elevators. I will happily walk however many floors it takes rather than be in an elevator. Oh, and especially when I was just in Europe, some of those elevators are so tiny. I had a really hard time with it, which is like, I've realized, like such a baby thing. But it's like in the moment, you can't help but panic. I feel like for me, painting really helps with a lot of that anxiety. Hey, Marcos. Marcos said, greetings from Argentina. Oh, Mariella said, why do you think you fear flying? Is it the sensation of it? Okay, so I think it's like, okay, there's a few things. One of my biggest ones is like, everyone has like this social agreement on the plane that everyone's gonna act normal. But sometimes like they don't. And so I'm always afraid that there's gonna be like, you know, someone's gonna panic on a flight, or I'm just gonna, you just don't always know what the behavior of everyone else is, and that's maybe that's like a uniquely American thing. I don't know. But also just like the feeling of being trapped in there. Turbulence is never fun either. Oh no. The story about the guy getting trapped till Sunday. Yeah, that's terrifying. Hello from Boise. Hey. I have a thing against escalators after seeing one video that traumatized me. Yeah, I get that with escalators too. Escalators, I don't worry so much about myself, but I have 3 small children. And so I'm always like the annoying person yelling at my kids to jump at the end of the escalator. Actually, I have a lot of anxieties and just like stressors in life. And it's painting is like, I love it so much because your brain can't even concentrate on that stuff. It can't concentrate on stress if it's busy with this kind of stuff. At least for me, that's how it works. It's like you truly get to zone out. Oh, Painting Tracy said good morning from Illinois. Hey. It is a rainy day here in Atlanta. Hopefully wherever you guys are, it's you're experiencing nicer weather. I think I'm gonna have to come back to this brow bone. How many hours have you worked on this painting so far? Course Ed. Okay, so this is, I started this last week, I think, and it's pretty much the only thing I've been working on since. So, I don't know, maybe like 20 to 30 hours so far. It's a big one. I don't know if you guys can see like my hand in comparison to it. And this, like all the fabric is like super blocked in. I haven't really gone to that yet. I've spent a lot of my focus on the eyes. Maybe we'll get into the hands now a bit. Gotta do the neck. Still a lot. All right, where was I? I always get distracted. All right, let's work on the nose a bit. Mariola said, do you do many commissions or do you do more of your own work? Yes, I don't do any commissions at all. It's really lovely. I get to wake up in the morning and just paint whatever I feel like. I did commissions for a very short while. I only did a few. And while I enjoyed working on them, I would go to sleep thinking about them. I would wake up thinking about them. I would be so stressed about, is my client going to like it? It just kind of wasn't worth it for me emotionally. Does that make sense? Like I would just stress myself out about it so much. And it kind of took the fun out of it because I was just constantly worried about what, like, were they gonna like it? No, you guys aren't distracting me at all. I quite like getting to talk to you guys while I paint. It helps me like zone out even more, if that makes sense. Like it like forces my, I like to say, my lizard brain to take over and not get too caught up in the details. I can think about my painting a little more holistically. Oh, Marco said, congrats on your Arcadia exhibition. How did that go? It went great. Thanks for asking. I was part of their LA art show exhibit. There were a ton of great artists who were in it. I did not. It still feels very surreal for me. But it went really well. Thank you for asking. I'm working on this one for them, plus like 15 others for the end of the year. It's the most that I've ever worked on before. Oh, Zero said, were there any tricky clients? I can't imagine there would be any complaints though. Yeah, I did. Okay, it's kind of funny. One of my clients, they wanted a picture done of their grandfather. And they're like, but it's a very old photo. Like, I think it was like a photo from the 60s or 70s. And it was like them in front of a tractor, like far away. It was blurry. So like you couldn't see the grandfather's face at all. And so I said to them, I'm like, hey, I can't see the face. It's like just a pixelated blur. So I can paint something, but it's not gonna like, I can only be as detailed as the reference photo. And they were like, yeah, that's perfectly fine. And then once I painted it, they were like, that doesn't look like my grandfather at all. I'm like, well, I don't know what he looks like. So that was the one that stopped it all for me. Are you planning on doing your creative breaking up of space with random color or just straight realism on this one out of curiosity? Okay, so my plan is with all this fabric is to kind of get a little crazy in there. We'll see how it actually plays out though. I honestly never know what my final product is gonna look like. Um, Okay. Someone said, "Hey Miriam, as a self-taught artist, I sometimes feel lost navigating and learning everything on my own. Do you have any advice on how to improve consistently and find my artistic voice?" Okay, so I go through different periods of my work, and you guys could, if you've followed my work for a while, you'll probably see that. I go through a cycle of like creative work, and then I go through a cycle of skill building where I'm focusing on uh, specific things at a time. And so I think when you are trying to improve your skills, I think having something specific to focus on is always really helpful, rather than just like aimlessly painting and wondering why your work isn't improving. The other thing there is having a good feedback loop somewhere in there. So whether that's, you're doing that digitally or working with a mentor or even trading work with a friend, you know, um, sometimes you don't know what you don't know, or you can't identify what's wrong in your own work. And so having another pair of eyes on it is super helpful. And then as far as finding your voice, I think that just comes with time. I think for me, I'm always, that's a continual journey for me personally. I know that was a whole lot of rambling on my part. The painting looks already finished. At what point will you think it's done? So for me, I see a lot I still need to do. Like it might be hard to see, but the fingers um, and the hands still really rough. There's a lot of rough parts here, and a lot of this I will leave rough. I like to leave. I do like a balance of roughness and more fully rendered pieces. Um, but it's usually just like a gut feeling. I don't have like a hard set when something is done. That would make things a lot easier if I did. How long have you been painting prior to becoming a professional artist? So I started oil painting. It's kind of crazy. At the beginning of COVID. And I've been painting ever since. Oh, that whole cheek area is gonna give me Nightmares. Do you have a reference for this face right now? Is it your photo or a 3D model? So this is a local model that I work with. She lives here in Atlanta, and I'm painting a few paintings of her at the moment. So I'm working off of a photograph. She came over to the studio and we did a set of photos. She has just like some of the most unique, beautiful features. Like, I love her eyes. I'll post the reference over on Patreon either today or tomorrow, if anyone's interested. Hey, thank you, Mariella. All right, let's work on these hands a bit. So I work with my reference photo in black and white a lot. So that's why I was just looking at my reference in black and white, but now that I'm moving on to her hands, I just put it back in color. Oh, the hands are gonna take a long time. How will you create blue colors with Zorn palette? I can't get blue mixed with Zorn palette. I don't use the Zorn palette, so I don't really have any advice there. You can see I'm just using straight up ultramarine blue for my blue in this. I've actually never even tried the Zorn palette. Is it yours or her costume? How do you find all that outfit? Did you take it before making, or did you think about it before making the photo, or is it just happens during? Okay, so let me show you what this actually is. And this is what I always do with all my models. It's literally, here you guys can see here, I just buy like yards of fabric from the fabric store, and I just drape it around my models. So they come in their own neutral colored outfit is all I ask of them. And then I pretty much just, I set them in their pose, and then I start to drape fabric all around them. It makes it super easy on my part. Do you give any portrait painting workshops at all? I'm about to give my first one to a group of 10, and I could definitely use some tips. I actually just did my first workshop. I like practical tips. I think going through your workshop on your own, like doing a test run, that was really helpful for me. Having lots of physical examples for them to look at and see. I found that really helpful. And then like as far as the environment, you know, making sure everyone's relaxed, whether that's music or food, you know, those kinds of things go a long way, I think. Okay, I know this all looks really kind of crazy right now, but I'm roughing in like my color into some of these areas, and then I'm gonna go through and start refining. But I need paint down first before I can do all that. Hey, Mikula. Um, I always love it when other people say that they're painting at the same time. You know, painting is, I feel like it can be very isolating and lonely sometimes, especially if you paint, like I paint from home. Uh, and so there are days that I can go, or times where I can go days without like talking to another adult that doesn't live in my house. So I think that's one of the reasons why I like to get on live. It feels like we're all colleagues. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I catch a glimpse of what I'm painting in the phone screen, and I just saw how crazy that hand is looking. Laura said, "Ew, people." Prolescent said, "Love seeing your work, thank you." And they said, "It's almost 3 years since I started my oil painting journey, and I feel like I still have so much to learn. Currently struggling with painting the eyes." Hey, I feel the exact same. And I think that's the exciting part. Like, if I didn't feel like I had so much to learn, um, it'd be pretty boring for me personally. So don't let that feel like a negative for you. I feel like eyes in the past year have been something that I've really learned to love, but it's taken me a long time to get there. Hey, Sophia said you got me back into oils. I oscillate between tattooing and oil. That's awesome. You know what's so funny is I have like quite a lot of tattooers that either follow me or interact with my work. And it's always so surprising to me. Like it's super cool. Yeah, Nicola said there was a guy that came to his place painting together and it made him 200% more effective. Yeah, I totally see that. I also, so one of the things that I do is I like to listen to music and audiobooks while I paint. I feel like that always makes me more effective too. Someone said, true, it can be a bit isolating. How old are your babies? And what are their names? Yes, I don't really share like anything like that about them, but I'll tell you their ages. They are, well, 7 and 9. I've got twins. So there's like, I'm like in the thick of it right now. There's always chaos going on at my house, but it's a fun age. Very, very fun, but very loud. Marita said, I'm a tattoo artist. I'm also a tattoo artist. Yeah, that's actually in just like the workshop that I just did. There were quite a few tattoo artists in there as well. Ears are my problem. Yeah, you know, ears, I always say you can, I haven't even worked on that ear. I always save ears for the end. Do you begin a painting with line work or blocky shapes? Oh, okay, so it's hard to define how I start a painting. I start with like chaos, but I guess the closest thing you can call it are blocky shapes. I start with like the perimeter, and then I just start globbing in like local color everywhere. I show a lot of my beginning stages on social media, so if you're curious about how I start my paintings, you can find on like my Instagram or TikTok. So this painting, I actually started, the whole base layer is all oil sticks, which I've been loving lately. I've been talking about them nonstop, so if you've heard me already talk about them 40 times, apologies. All right, we're gonna have to go back into that neck area and fix all that. I don't know if you guys can see, there was like a dark area and my paint is like, it's just too transparent at the moment to cover it up, but I guess I could just go in with some titanium. I've recently heard about oil sticks. I haven't tried them yet. Do you recommend them? Yeah, I love them. I use the R&F pigment sticks. And they speed up my process a whole lot. They're like super fun to work with, super easy to work with. They aren't the cheapest things, but I find them comparable to the same price as like a good tube of paint, depending on the color. All right, we're gonna go back into that area once it dries. Oh, Dorina said, I bought them because of you. Love them. Yay. Yeah, they're so fun. It really, you know, I haven't done it yet, but I would really like to incorporate them later into my process as well. I think I'm gonna do that for this, like, and a lot of the fabric, just like go wild with the sticks in there. I think that'd be fun. Ignore this line here. All right, guys, I have to head off to physical therapy in a minute here. So I'm gonna hop off, but thank you all for joining. If you have any questions, leave comments, or if you want to see more of my full process, stuff like that, feel free to check out my Patreon as well. Thanks, everyone.